Okay. Dr. Chintala wanted to understand, about the high frequency indicators which are suggesting a very good growth and recovery for the rural end of the economy. You being the apex financial institution to rural India, what are your channel checks suggesting on how sustainable this recovery and growth is?
This particular pandemic had created all kinds of problems and it had crippled the economies all over the world and also India. But at the same time, as you are telling, that rural economy has not been impacted much. This is what I found. Though initially the first 1 month, everybody was caught unawares as to what is happening. But afterwards, the Rabi harvest season and also the works related to Narega has been there very good, and in that process that nothing had been in a very bad shape in the rural part. And the other part which I would like to say that we have that microfinance and also that NBFC finance in a big way in the rural areas. Both of them in the initial 1 month, the payment infrastructures were not in place. Mostly the NBFCs and MFIs collection was through the manual collection, and very few of them have kept that payment infra through the net kind of a thing. But afterwards, again, they started paying back, and now we see that recovery in the rural areas is very good. And even the other day, I was in Chennai for 4 days in Tamil Nadu. I was talking to people across, maybe most of the NBFCs, MFIs, banks, who are dealing with the rural things. Everybody says that they are not finding that kind of a stress in rural area, particularly with regard to the agriculture, agri-related works, and also this Narega type of a work. So I feel that maybe the phenomena is more with regard to the industry and services, and agriculture is in a reasonably right track.
Credit environment continues to remain subdued but has seen some pickup on a month-on-month basis as far as we understand. Which segment is showing higher signs of growth, and what disbursements then are you targeting for FY21?
If I look into the whole thing, that agriculture is doing very well. As we have seen in the first quarter, almost 4% of the growth has come. Though when we are reading the papers, everybody was looking into it, whether the recovery will be V-shaped, U-shaped, L-shaped, K-shaped, Q-shaped, depending on the way, everybody's interpretation. But in case of agriculture, I found that there is absolutely no downslide. So it is on the upward swing. So now this particular recovery is happening. So in that process, I am very upbeat about the rural credit availment at the ground level. As we have seen that now 15 lakh crores is the rural agricultural credit which has been earmarked for this year by all the banking sector. And at the same time, NABARD is giving close to around 1,20,000 crores. That is 30,000 crores over and above the previous year's 90,000 crores for that concessional short-term credit, that is for the seasonal agricultural operations. Why I am telling about this increased outlay is the monsoon is very good this year, and the sowings of the Kharif is 106%, and the reservoir levels are close to 90%. So my expectation that Rabi crop is going to be much better than even the previous years. When all these things are happening, and at the same time, the way the new amendments have happened and the movement of the goods will be free, and also the procurements will happen in a much better way. So we are expecting that the agricultural credit is going to be 100% achievement this year. And also the other thing is with regard to, as you are asking, that which are the other sectors, that animal husbandry, farm mechanization, microfinance, fisheries, they're all doing very upbeat kind of a thing, and we are seeing quite a lot of an offtake of credit in these areas. And also when the new schemes are coming with regard to the farmer producers organizations, it is going to be a game changer, and the agricultural credit is going to take a much bigger leap, as apart from the crop loans, there will be the loans for that value chain at that primary aggregator level, cleaners, graders, processors, logistics suppliers, and also the final processors. Everywhere there is a kind of a credit requirement is there. So once these 10,000 FPOs, which are going to come in the next 4 years, and with the existing 8,000 FPOs that are already on the ground, the credit for this value chain, which was hitherto unknown, now is going to be a very big kind of a segment which we are looking into it. And the other one which I am looking at with a great anticipation is with regard to that microfinance, MFI and the NBFC lending. happening. Why I got this kind of a confidence is that I was talking to the microfinance people across and spoke to many people. So everybody told that the first 1 or 2 months, there was a kind of a shock, disbelief, and also the moratoriums were announced. Many of them were either thrust upon the moratorium or some people have asked for it. But at the same time, now the rural areas are able to generate money, people at that lower level, either through NAREGA or the agricultural works or maybe any other kind of a thing. So now, in that way, that microfinance and the NBFC lending in the rural areas is going to be a very big one. And we are already gearing up to do maybe substantial thing, as we are already around 5,000 crores of special liquidity fund, which we received from RBI just recently. We are trying to gear up to disburse this one, besides 2,000 crores, which are already disbursed in the COVID time.
Okay. The agri bill which has passed, how exactly to your mind will change things on ground for farmers, and how exactly, what is going to change for, let's say, people who are associated with this entire agriculture chain, where NABARD is financing? I mean, have you looked at have you had a chance to look at it as to how it will change life for NABARD?
Yeah, we made substantial reading of this entire bills, not only that, when it was ordinances were also. And also even before that, NABARD was advocating that there should be some kind of a change with the kind of a procurements that are happening. As you are telling that mandis were created at one point of a time when there was no organized market. And they have done their job well. I am not discounting the maybe the services rendered by mandis. But at the same time, over a period of time, these mandis have become a little bit of a stranglehold on the farmer's ability to sell the produce wherever he wants. And also there is a little bit, now as I look into it, I worked in the same geographies where right now the protests are happening. I used to see that there were so many the middlemen, whom you call artiyas or maybe middlemen, or maybe these are the people, financiers also. These are the people who are well entrenched into the system, and there is a little bit of a cartelization, and these people were dictating terms. So now when I look into the whole thing as to how this new bill is going, both the bills are going to change the entire outlook. We were gearing up even before the bills the ordinances have become bills. We created a fund for that agri infrastructure fund by Government of India for 1 lakh crore, and NABARD had separately created a primary agricultural societies to the multi-service societies. This is precisely the one which fits into that jigsaw puzzle, where the primary societies are going to be the market outlets, or maybe the kind of a procurement centers for the farmers. And also besides that, farmer producers organizations themselves can become the procurement centers, and also the private agencies come. When both many people come, there will be a kind of a competition, and this competition is going to give a better kind of a remuneration to the farmer, and also the freedom. The other bill, which is that freedom for the contract farming, which there was so much of a criticism, many people are looking into it, but I feel that for the past 20 years, everybody was trying to fine-tune this contract farming mechanism. And now I feel that this particular bill had taken all those things into account, saying that the farmer has absolute freedom to enter into a contract before starting the sowing season. He can plan which kind of a crop has to be produced and what kind of a margin he can get it. Now he can first dictate the price even before going into the sowing itself, saying that now if I am spending 100 rupees, my expectation is I should get around 150 rupees. That is the 50 rupees of the profit of this one. So now once he fixes the rate and the agreement is done, subsequently now in case the market prices are low at the time of harvest, still the company which had entered into the contract has to pay him the whatever the amount that designated, the amount which has been signed. And also that if you look into the bill a little more seriously, they say that in case if that day the market prices are more,
Right, fair point. So, sir, before we wrap the show, I just want to understand from you that right now your view on the agriculture sector is good because we've had a good monsoon, and somewhere the rural economy has done much better in the COVID crisis because urban lockdown was there and rural economy lockdown was not all that aggressive. But when you are taking a view on the agriculture sector, one needs to be cognizant of the fact that productivity levels are low. The agriculture bill, when it will be implemented, it will come at its own cost, because the price and the adatia, when it gets down, the assured business which used to come to farmers would also die down. There would be small groups or cohorts which will automatically happen. So do you think the implementation of the agriculture bill could be a huge teething process initially for 2-3 years?
No, I don't think. As we have seen, as I was telling, that maybe for the past 1 or 2 years, so much of a groundwork is being done. Take the case of farmer producers organizations. Already the government and NABARD together had spawned quite a lot of these FPOs in the ground level. Today, even before these 10,000 FPOs have been announced by Government of India, 8,000 FPOs are already in place. And if you just look into the success stories of them, many of them already started organizing the farmers, maybe ranging from 1,000 to 5,000. The other day, just I have seen in one place near Madurai, 5,000 farmers, 14 crores of turnover they have, and they are producing quite a lot of an amount. And if you look into it, on the day of procurement, they are giving 5 rupees per kilo more than the market rate. Now, they are even giving the dividend also on whatever the profits they are making. So in that way, government, maybe for the past 1 or 2 years, I think they are laying out the entire strategy as to how to go ahead. And today the bill passing is purely enabling all these things. Now there are 7,000 or 8,000 FPOs in ground, with the 10,000 more FPOs that are coming there. And also the Agri Infrastructure Fund that is going to create alternative market structures. And the ENAM that has been there, and also logistics the government is trying to organize. I think the things are already in place, and there should not be any kind of a problem in implementing this particularly new bills. This is my opinion.
Mr. Chintala, it's been a pleasure having you with us, just giving us a deeper sense as to how things are faring on the rural side and what the outlook is on the agri economy.